Welcome to the 2022 First Responders Breakfast. I know some of you are still eating, but we're going to go ahead and get started with our program this morning, so continue to enjoy your breakfast. At this time, I would ask everyone to rise as the color guard presents the colors. Will be followed by our invocation. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. I would ask Fire Chaplain Jeremy Kenyon to come up for our invocation this morning.
Good morning, everybody. As I look out in this room, I just want to say it's really nice to see everybody here. We've all, as families and businesses and everything, gone through a lot the last couple of years. But if anything, it just shows our ability to be resilient, and hopefully in this we've learned a little compassion. So real quick before I pray, I just want to share a quick verse with you. 1 Peter 3:8 tells us, "Finally, all of you be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate, and be humble." So real quick, my challenge for you today is whether they're in this room, whether they work in your department, or whether it's the guy you see laying on the sidewalk outside. I want you to try to help someone make today a better situation for them today, whether that's saying hello, letting someone know they're noticed, because we've all known people who were here a few years ago that are not here today, and they can't do that, okay? So that's our challenge. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you so much for this opportunity for us to get together, Lord, for us to recognize some individuals who definitely deserve to be recognized. Lord, I thank you for this breakfast. I thank you for the folks that put it on, Lord, and I thank you for everybody that could be here. Lord, I pray for the families of everyone who can't be here today. Lord, and I just thank you for the many blessings on our lives that you give us every single day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you all for being here today. Before we get started, I would just like to recommend, as is the chamber custom, to recognize some elected officials in the audience today. I think with us today we have Mayor Eileen Weir. Mayor, are you here? We also have Councilman Dan Hobart. Dan, are you? And from the Independent School Board, we have our current president, Denise Fears. And we have Director Jill Essery as well. Thank you all for being here. So a few years ago, the Chamber started this program, but COVID obviously impacted our ability to move forward with it. So we're thrilled to bring it back again this year. Mother Nature postponed us a couple weeks ago, but here we are. So there was no question that we would have our presentations one way or another, and we look forward to continuing it as an annual event. We couldn't do this without our sponsors who help offset the cost of the event, so we want to thank our supporting sponsors, the Examiner and the Independence Police Foundation. We would also like to thank our presenting sponsor, AT&T FirstNet. So here to welcome you from AT&T is Beth Chambliss. Beth?
Hi everyone, pleasure to be here today. We are honored and so excited to be able to support something like this for the community. We know and understand, and we really support all first responders, everything you do every day, and just want to say we're thankful for each and every one of you. Those of you who may or may not know what FirstNet is, this is the 10-year anniversary of Congress signing into action the FirstNet Authority. It's the 5-year anniversary of AT&T partnering with the FirstNet Authority to provide a dedicated spectrum for first responders. I have some folks here that'll be back there in the corner. Feel free to stop by, ask about it, but I'm happy to be here and thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Beth, and thank you for AT&T for your support. While COVID put this award on hold, our first responders in our community didn't rest. They kept doing their jobs under difficult situations that we've never experienced and hope to never experience again. While most of the world was closing down, our first responders kept doing their job, keeping people safe and responding when called upon. Like they do every day, they put their lives on the line to serve the community. Handing out just 6 awards today seems insufficient for what our first responders have to deal with. I think we would all agree every one of them shows dedication, leadership, bravery, and they are our heroes. So before we get to our awards, I would like to recognize in attendance today Officer Tom Wagstaff and his wife Stacy are here joining us today, so welcome. As I mentioned, today we will present 6 awards in 4 categories, and our first ever award for Valor will be presented on behalf of a fallen first responder who gave their life in the line of duty. It is an award we will do annually, but it is a recognition we pray we never have to present again. We had our largest number of nominations for this year's awards, and our judges all expressed how difficult it was to select the top honorees. In our presentation today, we're also going to do it a little differently. We wanted those persons who made the nomination to present the award and share their story, why this first responder was worthy of the recognition. So our first award this morning is the Award of Dedication. Our judges actually selected 2 individuals to receive this award. Our first presentation is to Mariah Yates with AMR, and unfortunately Mariah could not be here with us this morning, but we have, Paul and Mike from AMR that will receive the award, and the award is being presented by Tammy Parsons. Tammy?
Good morning. First off, I would just like to thank all the first responders for your service and your strength that you show in our community. It's an honor to be here today. I've been asked just a couple of times, how do I know Mariah Yates? And I must say, she is my great niece. And it was through a family conversation one evening and a very proud mama that was bragging on all the achievements that her daughter had done. And a few days after that, I received through the chamber that we were nominating people that we felt for these awards. And just a summary of the conversation that brought that to this award. Miss Yates is a single mom who put herself through all required training to become an EMT and work on an ambulance crew. During the pandemic, in her first year of work, she delivered a breeched baby, both feet first. Most recently, she was involved in a heart transplant effort and was a part of a team that was able to get a heart to a medical facility in time for a transplant, which saved a life. She could have gone to any college she wanted, but instead she chose to be a part of our amazing first responders. And the award goes to.
Thank you very much. Our next award for dedication this morning is being presented to Craig Compton. Presenting today's award is Kenny Soul. Please welcome him to the podium.
Good morning. Once again, we'd like to thank you for your service. As a community, we are very grateful and thankful for what you do for us on a daily basis. Craig Compton served in the United States Air Force from 2003 to 2007 in active duty. Craig is currently serving in the United States Air Force Reserves. Craig served with the Sugar Creek Fire Department from 2011 to 2017 as a firefighter EMT. I was lucky enough to be a shift partner for 3 years. Craig is currently a firefighter for the Independence Fire Department at Station 5. His current job assignment is firefighter EMT on Pumper 5. He has many daily responsibilities that he fills with great strength and compassion for our city. Like many veterans and first responders, Craig will do whatever it takes to fulfill his role. Craig is a dedicated veteran, firefighter, husband, father, and friend. What Craig does off the job is as equally impressive as what he does on the job. Craig, to me, shows the true heart of a public servant. He has been in many trying situations in life, which causes many mental and emotional trauma. Craig has chosen to use his life experiences to help others. Craig is heavily involved with a not-for-profit group called The Battle Within. I would like to read to you a letter from Josh Krasovic from The Battle Within. The Battle Within provides programming for our nation's warriors to begin the process of caring for their individual, mental, and behavioral health. Each warrior is offered the opportunity to discover the traumatic injuries and begin to face those burdens head on. They develop a tool set to discover their traumatic injuries and begin to face those burdens. They develop a tool set of evidence-based skills along with the community of support to begin the journey of healing. One of the most widely used services we offer is a free 5-day class that applies a peer-supported approach to clinical methods that address mental and behavioral health. A major component to the success of the program is volunteerism. A graduate of the course is able to come back and serve as a mentor to future classes. In doing so, they effectively keep the wheels on and practice the administrative necessities required to conduct the class. These duties can consist of anything as simple as filling water bottles to being asked to share their own life experiences. They stay on site with the participants for the entire week. They develop strong bonds with the participants. It is through these relationships with mentors that peer-supported introduction to clinical modalities is achieved. The mentors show their peers that it is okay to need help addressing the traumas that first responders face in the line of duty. Having them guide another down the path makes it easier for participants to utilize clinically and scientifically proven methods in their own lives. This helps participants to bridge the gaps resulting from stigma, shame, and first responder cultures that prevent so many from utilizing the services they need. Since attending the program himself, Craig has consistently volunteered year to year. His involvement in the program and his care and concern for his fellow veterans and first responders catapulted him quickly through the ranks of the Battle Within community to date. Craig has given approximately 1,000 hours of his own time in dedication to the Battle Within and is the current mentor coordinator. Not only has he had referred numerous other first responders to the services we offer, but he consistently shown up at each session to do any of the things necessary to make it successful. He's proven himself to be a genuine leader, a man with real care and concern for fellow responders and veterans, and a volunteer that can be trusted to maintain the trust instilled in us by those who seek our support. It would be difficult to do what we do without people like Craig Compton. So I'd like to present the award for dedication to Craig Compton.
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Craig. So our next award is for outstanding leadership, and will be presented to Kirk Stobart. Chief Stobart was nominated by Mayor Eileen Weir. So welcome to Mayor.
Eric forgot to recognize one elected official, Eric Knipp. Independent School Board. I met Kirk Stobart in 2003 when I was appointed to the Citizens Committee on Public Safety. The task of that committee was to evaluate the condition of the Independence police and fire departments and determine funding for capital needs. The committee recommended 2 sales taxes for police and fire that were approved by voters in August of 2004. Kirk has served as Deputy Chief of the Independence Fire Department since May of 2021. Prior to being named Deputy Chief, Kirk served as the President of the International Association of Firefighters Local 781 for 18 years. He began his career as a volunteer firefighter in Fort Osage in 1990, and he joined the Independence Fire Department in 1995. As union president, Kirk successfully negotiated many contracts to improve the safety for the citizens of Independence and bring professionalism to the fire service. He led the fire department's charitable foundation that raises funds for scholarships for Independence high school students and supports local nonprofit organizations. Kirk worked diligently to support the Firefighters National fundraising effort for multiple sclerosis through its annual fundraising drive. During his tenure as union president, Kirk worked to support voter-approved sales taxes for the fire service, allowing for the construction of a fire training facility, new fire stations, purchase of new equipment, and increased training. He is a leader in firefighter safety, bringing new policies, procedures, and education to the Independence Fire Department through his engagement with the International Firefighters Association. The IAFF Local 781 actively participates in local, state, and national elections, supporting candidates that support public safety and public employees, ballot initiatives for fire service, and legislative advocacy to protect and promote effective fire service. Kirk is a graduate of Fort Osage High School and served on the Fort Osage Board of Education from 2012 to 2018. He has been and continues to be a key leader in shaping our city and providing the needed resources to the Independence Fire Department. It's my honor to present this award to Deputy Chief Kurt Stobart.
Thank you, Mayor Weir, and thank you, Kirk. Our next recognition this morning is for bravery. This year, it will be presented to Henry Mcclendon with the Independence Fire Department. His nomination was submitted by Andrew Hacker. Andrew, come forward.
At 1900 hours, Pumper 6 was dispatched to assist Independence Police Department with a suicidal patient attempting to jump from a 40-foot high tree. IPD crisis negotiators talked the patient into getting down from the tree. When the patient started getting down, they became stuck and could not get down on their own. Pumper 6 deployed a 24-foot extension ladder, but it only reached halfway to the patient. Henry Mcclendon was able to use his past experience from the Forest Service not only to climb where the patient was, but he was able to expertly explain to the patient how to get down. Mcclendon was able to assist the patient by giving her footholds and a clear path to the ground. Mcclendon was aware of the risks due to the height of the tree and the mental state of the patient, and selflessly did his job with the utmost bravery and professionalism. So, it is with my pleasure the award for bravery goes to Fire Equipment Operator Henry Mcclendon.
Thank you both very much. Our next award this morning is the award for heroism. This year's honoree is Josh Jenna with the Independence Police Department, and presenting the award is Acting Police Chief Adam Dessel.
Well, good morning, and maybe the first step here to turn around and thank the other folks in the room on behalf of the first responders. We can't do what we do without all of you, your support, and your trust. It means more than you will ever know. This community is incredible, and the brave men and women, incredibly dedicated, that are out here serving each and every day, know that, we recognize it, and we see it, and we thank you very much. The morning of September 15th, 2021 started out like most ordinary mornings for our officers working that day. The day progressed until a call came in for a residence check for a wanted party being sought for their connection to criminal activity in our city the night before. IPD officers responded to the call, as they always do, parking and initially interviewing subjects to learn the whereabouts of the wanted party. This is where this ordinary day turned tragic. The wanted party was located on the property and was initially challenged by the responding officers. One of the officers, Blaze Madrid Evans, was brand new and still in his secondary phase of the field training program. Having graduated the police academy only 1 month prior, this was Officer Madrid Evans' 18th shift working as a commissioned police officer. This call, though often routine, would turn out to be life-altering for our entire community and law enforcement profession. What Officer Madrid Evans and other responding officers did not know was the wanted party they had just encountered was a violent felon. This party had a lengthy criminal past with the most dangerous and violent offenses imaginable among the list of crimes committed. Today, however, would be different. The reason we will never know, but September 15th, 2021 was the day this violent and dangerous subject decided to make a final stand. As Officer Madrid Evans and other responding officers gave verbal commands to the subject, the felon stood with a concealed weapon. After numerous attempts to follow commands, the criminal advanced on Officer Madrid Evans and fired, striking him in the head and eventually killing him. Though a series of events that transpired leading up to that moment make me sick, and although this incident was entirely preventable, as this subject should not have been walking the streets to kill this young officer, full of life and promise of a successful career ahead. And even though the other officers on scene just witnessed one of our own be brutally murdered, there was still work to do. At that very moment, a hero was taken in Officer Madrid Evans, but simultaneously another hero emerged. You see, standing next to Officer Madrid Evans was his field training officer, Joshua Jenna. Though the horror that he had just witnessed and the danger that remained was vivid, shocking, and unimaginable, Officer Jenna did not hesitate. He targeted the killer, fired his department-issued weapon, striking and killing the murderer. Though Officer Jenna nor any other officer could have saved Officer Madrid Evans, it is clear that Officer Jenna's heroic actions that morning saved other officers from being injured or killed. His quick thinking and action, when most in our society would freeze or run, is exactly why Officer Jenna is a hero. He represents the best of us at IPD and the best of what it means to be a police officer. This incident and Officer Jenna's heroic actions might come as a surprise to many of you, but I have had the pleasure of supervising Officer Jenna for many years, and I can tell you that the only thing bigger and stronger than his actions that day, in that moment, is his heart. I have seen Officer Jenna pay out of his own pocket for food and shelter for citizens in our city. I've seen Officer Jenna go the extra mile and above and beyond what would be expected of him on many calls for service. And yes, I have even fielded a call, not once but twice, from Officer Jenna wanting to adopt a dog he encountered on a call to prevent it from going to the animal shelter. You see, that is who Officer Jenna is. He is kind, compassionate, caring, and yes, heroic. It is because of his action on September 15th, 2021, that saved the lives of other officers, and because of who he is as a police officer and a man, that I am honored to introduce to you and present this year's Independence Chamber of Commerce First Responder Award for Heroism to Officer Joshua Jenna.
I think that story embodies everybody, how we feel about the first responders in our room today, not only police, but fire, AMR. It's amazing what you guys do every day, female guys and ladies every day, and we appreciate that. So our final recognition today is an award for Valor. This is the first time we have recognized a first responder who lost their life in the line of duty. The ultimate sacrifice deserves our highest honor. Today, we will recognize and remember Officer Blaze Madrid Evans of the Independence Police Department. And here to present this honor is Gary George and Michelle Sumstead from the Independence Police Foundation, and accepting the award in lieu of the family is Detective Ron Balter.
I don't know how you beat that one. That tears your heart out. But anyway, today's event goes back to Blaze Madrid Evans' parents, grandparents. I remember his grandfather at the visitation. I felt so sorry for that man because he talked and talked and talked about how Blaze would come and ride his four-wheeler in his driveway and just tear up the gravel, and just over and over. He was a farmer from Smithville. And to hear that story and to see the mothers, the grandparents, and I know that I saw firefighters come in, and Grandma and Grandpa was grabbing his firefighters and hugging them over and over because Blaze had worked for AMR. And it was so touching to see them over and over because after 18 shifts, they lost their son, they lost their grandson, who could have been, you know, his life would have gone on and on at age 22. So what a shame. But anyway, today, Michelle and I are here to present Ron Balzer. Ron?
He's right next to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. A lot of times, oh, you were sitting right there.
I know,
I'm sorry.
right?
Yeah. But anyway, we're here to make the presentation for the family. You're accepting that. So, Michelle?
I can't really say anything else about the incident other than what Interim Chief Dustman said, so the stuff that's written, I'm going to forego that, as a lot of you know I do frequently. So, that was a tragic day for the entire Independence Police Department, for the entire city of Independence, its staff, and really, quite honestly, the entire state of Missouri. With that said, on behalf of the Independence Police Foundation, we would like to present the Independence Chamber of Commerce Award for Valor to Officer Blaze Madrid Evans and his family, and accepting that award is Detective Ronnie Baltzer from the Independence Police Department.
Just a quick message from the family. Even though they couldn't be here today, they appreciate this award, and they appreciate everything that the Independence community has done to keep Blaze alive, in their memories and all of the recognition that he has received, and all of the sincere appreciation and gifts and letters and stuff that he has received from the community. Thank you.
Wow, what a great morning. And thank you all so much for being here, and congratulations to our awardees, and thank you to all of our first responders that are here this morning with us. So that concludes our program, and I want to take a moment to recognize some other heroes today that are in our audience. The previous event date of March 11th was National Funeral Directors and Morticians Day, which is a day set aside to recognize our last responders. And during the last 2 years, they have been on the front lines as well, helping families deal with the shock and grief of associated hundreds of COVID deaths. In attendance today are our funeral directors from Speaks Chapel. This incredible team never skipped a day of work, met with COVID-infected families, and cared for the deceased while many of us were working from home. 2 of their own employees actually lost their lives to the COVID virus. So let's take a moment, please, to recognize their service to the community. Thank you. So as we close, I hope everyone takes a moment to thank the many fire, police, and medical personnel who have joined us this morning, as well as those who are on the job keeping Independence safe. When you see them out in public, saying thanks is a small gesture that means a lot. I would ask everyone to stand, please, for the retiring of the colors, and thank you very much for coming this morning. Thanks.